Have you ever felt like every conversation turns into a battle? Or wondered why some people seem to effortlessly resolve conflicts while you struggle to find the right words? Imagine a life where conflicts become opportunities for growth, where every disagreement turns into a deeper understanding. Sounds impossible? It's not. In this video, we're going to explore powerful and creative ways to handle conflicts that will not only resolve your issues, but also strengthen your relationships and transform your life. By the end, you'll have the tools to turn any conflict into a constructive conversation. Stay with us, because what you're about to learn will change the way you interact with the world forever. Let's get started. Number 1. Listen actively and empathetically. Listening is an art, and when it comes to resolving conflicts, it's a skill that can make all the difference. Active and empathetic listening means truly hearing what the other person is saying beyond just their words. It involves understanding their emotions, their perspective, and the underlying reasons behind their stance. Start by putting yourself in a mindset of curiosity and openness. Approach the conversation with the intention to understand, not just to respond. Imagine the other person's feelings as vividly as you can. What might they be going through? What are their fears, hopes, and motivations? This mental exercise will prepare you to listen more deeply and respond more compassionately. When you're in a conflict, your first instinct might be to defend yourself or argue your point. But take a step back. Let the other person speak first, without interrupting. This shows respect and a willingness to understand their side. As they talk, pay attention not just to their words, but also to their tone, body language, and facial expressions. These non-verbal cues often convey more than the words themselves. As you listen, practice reflective listening. This means paraphrasing what the other person has said and repeating it back to them. For example, you might say, "So what I'm hearing is that you're feeling frustrated because you think I haven't been listening to your ideas at work." This technique does two things. It shows the other person that you are genuinely trying to understand their perspective, and it gives them a chance to clarify if you've misunderstood anything. Empathy is crucial in this process. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's about seeing the world through their eyes. When you empathize, you validate the other person's emotions. You might say something like, "I can see why you'd feel upset about this situation. It must have been really disappointing for you." Validating their feelings doesn't mean you agree with them, but it shows that you respect their right to feel the way they do. During the conversation, avoid jumping to conclusions or making assumptions. If something isn't clear, ask open-ended questions to gain a better understanding. Questions like, "Can you tell me more about what happened?" Or, "How did that make you feel?" Encourage the other person to express themselves more fully. Sometimes, listening actively and empathetically means acknowledging your own role in the conflict. This can be tough, but it's essential for genuine resolution. If the other person points out something you did that hurt them, listen without getting defensive. Take a moment to reflect on their words. If there's truth to what they're saying, own up to it. Apologize sincerely if needed. This level of honesty and humility can diffuse a lot of tension and pave the way for a more productive discussion. Another important aspect of active listening is patience. Conflicts, especially those involving deep-seated issues, aren't resolved in a single conversation. Be prepared for the possibility that multiple discussions might be needed. Each conversation is a step towards a solution, and sometimes just being heard is a significant part of the healing process for both parties. As you listen, try to maintain a calm and composed demeanor. Even if the other person gets emotional, your calmness can have a grounding effect. Take deep breaths, maintain eye contact, and nod occasionally to show that you are engaged. If you feel yourself getting upset, it's okay to take a short break. Say something like, "I want to continue this conversation, but I need a moment to gather my thoughts. Can we take a 5-minute break?" This shows that you are committed to resolving the conflict, but also recognize the importance of managing your own emotions. In addition to listening to the other person, it's equally important to listen to yourself. Pay attention to your own feelings and reactions during the conversation. Are you feeling defensive, angry, or frustrated? Acknowledge these emotions without letting them control your response. Self-awareness is key to staying calm and focused. After you've listened to the other person, it's your turn to speak. Express your thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully. Use I statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," you might say, "I feel unheard when my suggestions are dismissed." This shifts the focus from blaming the other person to expressing your own experience. Listening actively and empathetically is not about agreeing with everything the other person says. It's about creating a space where both of you feel heard and understood. This mutual understanding is the foundation for finding a resolution that works for both parties. In the end, active and empathetic listening can transform the way you handle conflicts. It fosters a sense of respect and understanding, which are crucial for resolving disagreements constructively. By truly listening, you can turn conflicts into opportunities for growth and deeper connection. So, the next time you find yourself in a disagreement, remember to listen with your ears, your mind, and your heart. This simple yet powerful approach can change the way you navigate conflicts forever. Number 2, communicate clearly and assertively. Now that we've covered the importance of listening actively and empathetically, let's move on to the next crucial step in handling conflicts: communicating clearly and assertively. Clear and assertive communication ensures that your thoughts and feelings are expressed in a way that is both respectful and effective, paving the way for a constructive dialogue. Clear communication starts with being concise and to the point. When emotions run high, it's easy to get lost in a sea of words and stray from the main issue. To avoid this, take a moment before you speak to gather your thoughts. Focus on the key points you want to convey and think about how to articulate them clearly. This not only helps you stay on track, but also makes it easier for the other person to understand your perspective. Another important aspect is to be specific about what you're discussing. Vague statements can lead to misunderstandings and further conflict. If you're addressing a particular incident, provide clear examples. For example, "When you interrupted me during the meeting yesterday, I felt frustrated because I couldn't share my ideas." Specificity clarifies the issue at hand and helps the other person understand exactly what you're referring to. Assertiveness is equally important in effective communication. Being assertive means standing up for your own rights and expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs openly and honestly without being aggressive. It's about finding the balance between passivity and aggression. Assertiveness fosters respect and mutual understanding, which are key to resolving conflicts. To practice assertiveness, use a confident and calm tone of voice. Your body language should also convey confidence. Maintain eye contact, stand or sit up straight, and avoid crossing your arms, which can seem defensive. Assertive communication is about conveying strength without overpowering the other person. It's also essential to be respectful and considerate in your communication. Avoid using hurtful or inflammatory language, as this can escalate the conflict. Even when discussing difficult topics, strive to be polite and kind. Respect fosters a positive atmosphere where both parties feel safe to express themselves. Timing is another critical factor in effective communication. Choose the right moment to have the conversation, preferably when both parties are calm and free from distractions. Trying to resolve a conflict when emotions are high can be counterproductive. If needed, suggest taking a break and revisiting the issue later when both of you are in a better frame of mind. Active listening plays a role here as well. After you've expressed your thoughts, give the other person the opportunity to respond. Listen to their perspective with the same empathy and attention you would like to receive. This two-way communication is essential for mutual understanding and finding common ground. Clarifying and summarizing what the other person has said can also be helpful. This shows that you are paying attention and gives you a chance to ensure you've understood their perspective correctly. For example, you might say, "If I understand correctly, you're saying that you felt ignored during the meeting because your suggestions weren't acknowledged. Is that right?" This kind of clarification helps prevent misunderstandings and demonstrates your commitment to resolving the issue. Feedback is an integral part of clear communication. After expressing your thoughts and listening to the other person, provide constructive feedback. Focus on specific behaviors rather than personal traits. For instance, instead of saying, "You're always so careless," you could say, "I noticed that the report had several errors and it affected our project. Can we discuss how to avoid this in the future?" Constructive feedback aims to address the behavior and find solutions rather than criticizing the person. Finally, be open to feedback yourself. Accepting constructive criticism gracefully shows maturity and a willingness to improve. If the other person points out something you could do differently, listen with an open mind and consider their suggestions. This openness fosters a collaborative spirit and demonstrates your commitment to resolving the conflict. Communicating clearly and assertively transforms conflict resolution into a productive dialogue. It ensures that both parties are heard and understood, creating a foundation for mutual respect and cooperation. By expressing your thoughts and feelings honestly and respectfully, you pave the way for resolving conflicts effectively and strengthening your relationships. Remember, clear and assertive communication is a powerful tool that can turn disagreements into opportunities for growth and deeper connection. Number 3, focus on the issue, not the person. Building on the foundation of active listening and clear, assertive communication, it's crucial to maintain focus on the issue at hand rather than attacking the person involved. This approach helps keep the conversation productive and respectful, preventing the conflict from escalating into personal attacks or emotional outbursts. When conflicts arise, it's easy to let emotions take over and start blaming or criticizing the other person. However, personal attacks only serve to damage relationships and hinder any chance of resolving the issue. Instead, aim to separate the person from the problem. This means addressing the specific behavior or situation that is causing the conflict, rather than making it about the individual's character or personality. Begin by clearly identifying the issue. Be specific about what is bothering you and why it's important. For example, instead of saying, "You're so irresponsible," you could say, "I'm concerned because the project deadline was missed and it affects our team's performance." This way, you're addressing the behavior that needs to change without attacking the person's character. Maintain a neutral and objective tone. Discussing the facts and how they impact you or the situation can help keep the conversation focused and rational. Avoid using exaggerated statements or generalizations such as "you always" or "you never." These can make the other person feel defensive and misunderstood. Stick to specific instances and describe them accurately. It's also important to acknowledge the other person's perspective. Show that you understand their point of view and recognize their feelings. This can be as simple as saying, "I understand that you were under a lot of stress, and that might have contributed to the oversight." Acknowledging their feelings doesn't mean you agree with them, but it shows empathy and respect, which can help diffuse tension. When discussing the issue, focus on finding a solution rather than assigning blame. Approach the conversation with a problem-solving mindset. Ask open-ended questions that encourage collaborative thinking, such as, how can we ensure this doesn't happen again? Or, what steps can we take to improve this situation? This shifts the focus from dwelling on the problem to working together towards a resolution. Be mindful of your body language and non-verbal cues. Maintain open and relaxed postures, use eye contact appropriately, and avoid gestures that could be perceived as aggressive or dismissive, such as pointing fingers or crossing arms. Non-verbal communication can significantly influence the tone of the conversation and help reinforce your commitment to resolving the issue respectfully. Another effective strategy is to express appreciation for the other person's positive actions or qualities during the conversation. This can help balance the discussion and remind both parties that the relationship has value beyond the current conflict. For example, you could say, I appreciate how dedicated you are to our team, and that's why I think it's important we address this issue. It's also helpful to establish common goals. Highlighting shared objectives can foster a sense of unity and cooperation. For example, you might say, we both want to ensure the success of this project, so let's figure out how we can work together to achieve that. This helps remind both parties that they are on the same team and working towards a common purpose. Managing emotions is key to staying focused on the issue. If you find yourself getting angry or frustrated, take a deep breath and try to calm down before continuing the conversation. It's okay to take a break if emotions are running too high. Suggest a short pause and resume the discussion when both parties are more composed. This can prevent the conflict from escalating and keep the focus on resolving the issue. Sometimes, writing down your thoughts before the conversation can help organize your ideas and keep you focused on the issue. This can also serve as a reference during the discussion to ensure you stay on track and don't veer into personal attacks or unrelated topics. If the conversation starts to drift towards personal criticisms or becomes heated, gently steer it back to the issue. You can say something like, let's focus on the problem at hand, or, I think we're getting off track. Can we return to discussing how we can address this issue? This reinforces your commitment to resolving the conflict constructively. In situations where the other person resorts to personal attacks, try to remain calm and not respond in kind. Instead, acknowledge their feelings and steer the conversation back to the issue. You might say, I hear that you're upset, but I think it's important we focus on finding a solution to this problem. Focusing on the issue, not the person, helps create a constructive environment where conflicts can be resolved effectively. It encourages mutual respect and understanding, allowing both parties to work together towards a resolution. By addressing the specific behavior or situation and avoiding personal attacks, you can transform conflicts into opportunities for positive change and stronger relationships. Number 4. Seek common ground and compromise. Focusing on the issue rather than the person sets the stage for productive conflict resolution. The next step involves seeking common ground and being open to compromise. Finding areas of agreement and being willing to make concessions are essential for moving forward and resolving conflicts amicably. Start by identifying shared goals or values. Even in the midst of a disagreement, there are often underlying commonalities that both parties can agree on. For instance, you might both want a successful project outcome, a harmonious home environment, or a strong relationship. Highlighting these shared goals can create a sense of unity and purpose. It shifts the focus from what divides you to what brings you together. To identify common ground, ask questions that explore the other person's needs and priorities. Questions like, what's most important to you in this situation? Or, what outcome are you hoping for? can reveal areas where your interests overlap. Once you identify these shared interests, you can build on them to find mutually beneficial solutions. Compromise is a crucial part of conflict resolution. It involves each party making concessions to reach an agreement that satisfies both sides to some extent. Compromise doesn't mean giving up on what's important to you, but rather finding a middle ground where both parties feel their needs are met. Approach compromise with a flexible mindset. Be willing to adjust your expectations and consider alternative solutions. For example, if you're negotiating responsibilities at work, you might suggest a division of tasks that leverages each person's strengths. Or in a personal relationship, you might agree to alternate between each other's preferences to ensure both parties feel valued. Effective compromise often involves creative problem-solving. Brainstorming together can generate innovative solutions that might not have been apparent initially. Encourage open dialogue and be willing to think outside the box. For example, if you're disagreeing about a family vacation destination, consider planning a trip that includes elements both parties enjoy, or finding a new location that excites everyone. It's also helpful to set clear boundaries and establish non-negotiables. These are the aspects of the conflict that are crucial to each party and cannot be compromised. Being upfront about your non-negotiables helps ensure that the final agreement respects your core values and needs. Similarly, understanding the other person's non-negotiables shows that you respect their priorities and are committed to finding a solution that works for both sides. When proposing compromises, use collaborative language that emphasizes partnership. Phrases like, "How can we work together to find a solution?" or "What if we try this approach?" foster a sense of teamwork and shared responsibility. This collaborative spirit can make it easier to reach an agreement and build trust between the parties involved. It's important to be patient during this process. Compromises often require time and multiple discussions to reach a satisfactory conclusion. Be prepared for some back and forth as both parties refine their positions and negotiate terms. Patience and persistence can help ensure that the final agreement is well thought out and mutually acceptable. Active listening remains crucial when seeking common ground and compromise. Continue to listen empathetically to the other person's concerns and suggestions. Validate their feelings and show that you value their input. This not only helps build trust, but also encourages them to be more receptive to your ideas. In some cases, it might be beneficial to involve a neutral third party, such as a mediator, to facilitate the compromise process. A mediator can help ensure that both parties are heard and that the discussion remains focused and constructive. They can also provide objective perspectives and suggest solutions that neither party might have considered. Once a compromise is reached, it's important to clearly outline the agreed-upon terms. This can help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that both parties are on the same page. Documenting the agreement, whether through a written contract or a simple email summary, can provide a reference point and reinforce the commitment to the solution. After implementing the compromise, follow up to ensure that the agreement is working as intended. Check in with the other person to see if they are satisfied with the outcome and address any issues that might arise. This ongoing communication helps reinforce the relationship and shows that you are committed to maintaining a positive and cooperative dynamic. By seeking common ground and being open to compromise, you can transform conflicts into opportunities for collaboration and growth. This approach fosters mutual respect and understanding, allowing both parties to feel valued and heard. Compromise is not about winning or losing, but about finding a balanced solution that honors the needs and priorities of everyone involved. Number 5. Manage your emotions and stay calm. Building on the importance of seeking common ground and compromise, Managing your emotions and staying calm during conflicts is crucial for effective resolution. Emotions can run high during disagreements, and losing control can escalate the situation, making it harder to find a solution. By managing your emotions, you maintain a level-headed approach that fosters constructive dialogue and mutual understanding. Start by recognizing your emotional triggers. Everyone has specific words, actions, or situations that can provoke a strong emotional response. By identifying these triggers, you can better prepare yourself to handle them calmly when they arise. For instance, if you know that criticism makes you defensive, acknowledge this and remind yourself to stay open-minded and not take it personally. Practicing mindfulness can be a powerful tool in managing emotions. Mindfulness involves being aware of your thoughts and feelings in the present moment without judgment. When you feel emotions rising, take a deep breath and focus on your breathing. This simple act can help calm your mind and body, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Another effective technique is to take a brief pause before responding. If the conversation becomes heated, it's okay to ask for a moment to gather your thoughts. You might say, "I need a moment to think about this." This pause gives you time to process your emotions and formulate a measured response. It can also prevent you from saying something in the heat of the moment that you might later regret. It's important to express your emotions constructively. Bottling up your feelings can lead to resentment and eventually an explosive outburst. Instead, communicate your emotions in a calm and respectful manner. Use I statements to express how you feel and why. For example, "I feel hurt when my ideas are dismissed because it makes me feel undervalued." This approach helps the other person understand your perspective without feeling attacked. In addition to managing your own emotions, be mindful of the other person's emotions as well. Pay attention to their body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions. If you notice signs of frustration or anger, acknowledge their feelings. You might say, "I can see that you're upset. Let's take a moment to calm down and then continue our discussion." Recognizing their emotions shows empathy and can help de-escalate the situation. Humor can also be a useful tool for diffusing tension. A light-hearted comment or a shared laugh can break the ice and create a more relaxed atmosphere. However, be cautious with humor and ensure it is appropriate for the context. Avoid making jokes at the other person's expense or using humor to dismiss their feelings. Maintaining a calm demeanor extends to your body language as well. Keep your posture open and relaxed, and avoid aggressive gestures like pointing or crossing your arms. A calm and composed presence can have a calming effect on the other person and set the tone for a more productive conversation. If you find it challenging to stay calm during conflicts, it can be helpful to practice stress reduction techniques regularly. Activities like meditation, yoga, or even regular physical exercise can help you build resilience to stress and maintain a calm mindset. The more you practice these techniques, the better equipped you'll be to manage your emotions during difficult conversations. It's also beneficial to develop a mental toolkit of calming strategies that you can use in the moment. This might include deep breathing exercises, counting to 10, or visualizing a peaceful scene. Having these strategies at your disposal can help you stay grounded and composed during conflicts. Remember, managing your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It's about acknowledging your feelings and responding in a way that is constructive and respectful. It's okay to feel angry, frustrated, or hurt, but how you express these emotions can significantly impact the outcome of the conflict. Seeking support from others can also be valuable. If you're struggling with managing your emotions, consider talking to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist. They can provide perspective, advice, and emotional support, helping you navigate conflicts more effectively. Finally, reflect on your emotional responses after the conflict has been resolved. Consider what worked well and what could be improved. This self-reflection can help you better understand your emotional triggers and develop more effective strategies for managing them in future conflicts. By managing your emotions and staying calm, you create a stable foundation for resolving conflicts constructively. This approach allows you to maintain control of the conversation, respond thoughtfully, and foster a positive environment where both parties feel heard and respected. Emotions are a natural part of conflicts, but with the right strategies, you can navigate them with grace and composure, turning disagreements into opportunities for growth and understanding. Number 6. Establish boundaries and set expectations. After managing your emotions and maintaining a calm demeanor, the next step in effectively dealing with conflict is to establish clear boundaries and set expectations. Boundaries are essential for maintaining mutual respect and ensuring that both parties feel safe and valued during and after the conflict resolution process. Start by defining your own boundaries. Consider what behaviors or actions are unacceptable to you and why. This might include yelling, name-calling, or interrupting. Having a clear understanding of your boundaries allows you to communicate them effectively to the other person. For example, you might say, "I want us to have a constructive conversation, but I need us both to avoid raising our voices." Setting boundaries is not about controlling the other person, but about creating a respectful environment where productive dialogue can occur. When you establish boundaries, explain their purpose. For instance, you could say, "I find it hard to focus on resolving the issue when we interrupt each other, so I'd like us to take turns speaking." This clarifies that the boundary is intended to facilitate a better conversation. Respecting the other person's boundaries is equally important. Ask them what they need to feel comfortable during the discussion and be willing to honor those needs. This mutual respect reinforces a collaborative approach to resolving the conflict. For example, if they need time to process their thoughts before responding, agree to pause the conversation and resume when they are ready. In addition to setting boundaries, it's crucial to establish clear expectations. Expectations are guidelines about how you will interact and what you hope to achieve from the conversation. Clear expectations help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that both parties are working towards a common goal. For instance, you might set an expectation to focus on finding solutions rather than placing blame. One way to set expectations is to agree on ground rules for the conversation. These rules might include taking turns speaking, avoiding interrupting, staying on topic, and maintaining a respectful tone. Having agreed upon rules creates a framework that both parties can refer to if the conversation starts to go off track. You might say, "Let's agree to not interrupt each other and to stay focused on finding a solution." Expectations also extend to the outcomes of the conflict resolution process. Be clear about what you hope to achieve and ask the other person to share their goals as well. This helps ensure that both parties are aligned and working towards a resolution that satisfies everyone involved. For example, you might say, "I want us to come up with a plan to avoid this issue in the future. What do you hope we can achieve?" Establishing boundaries and setting expectations involves a balance of firmness and flexibility. Be firm about what you need to feel respected and heard, but also be open to negotiating boundaries and expectations that work for both parties. This collaborative approach demonstrates your commitment to resolving the conflict in a way that respects both perspectives. It's important to revisit and reinforce boundaries and expectations throughout the conversation. If either party crosses a boundary or deviates from the agreed-upon expectations, address it calmly and respectfully. You might say, "I noticed we're starting to interrupt each other again. Can we go back to taking turns speaking? This gentle reminder helps keep the conversation on track and reinforces the importance of mutual respect. After the conflict has been resolved, it's beneficial to review the boundaries and expectations that were set. Discuss what worked well and what might need adjustment for future interactions. This reflection can help both parties understand each other better and build a stronger foundation for managing conflicts in the future. It's also helpful to establish boundaries and expectations for ongoing interactions, not just during conflicts. Having clear guidelines for communication and behavior can prevent conflicts from arising in the first place and ensure that any disagreements are handled respectfully and constructively. By establishing boundaries and setting clear expectations, you create a structured and respectful environment for resolving conflicts. This approach ensures that both parties feel valued and understood, and it sets the stage for productive dialogue and effective problem-solving. Boundaries and expectations are not about restriction, but about creating a space where both parties can communicate openly and honestly, leading to more meaningful and lasting resolutions. Number 7. Use collaborative problem-solving. Once you have established boundaries and set clear expectations, the next step in conflict resolution is to engage in collaborative problem-solving. This approach emphasizes working together to find mutually beneficial solutions rather than seeing the conflict as a win-lose scenario. Collaborative problem-solving begins with a mindset shift. Instead of viewing the other person as an adversary, see them as a partner in solving a common problem. This change in perspective fosters cooperation and reduces defensiveness, making it easier to find solutions that satisfy both parties. Start by clearly defining the problem together. Ensure that both parties agree on what the issue is. This common understanding is crucial for working towards a solution. You might say, "Let's make sure we both see the problem the same way. Can you explain how you see the issue?" This invitation for input shows respect for their perspective and helps clarify any misunderstandings. Once the problem is defined, brainstorm possible solutions together. Encourage open and creative thinking, where all ideas are considered without immediate judgment. This process can be facilitated by asking questions like, "What are some ways we can address this issue?" or "How can we meet both of our needs?" This inclusive approach can uncover innovative solutions that might not have been apparent initially. During the brainstorming phase, it's important to create a safe space where both parties feel comfortable sharing their ideas. Avoid dismissing or criticizing suggestions, even if they seem unrealistic at first. Instead, explore each idea and discuss its potential merits and drawbacks. This open dialogue can lead to a more comprehensive understanding of the issue and possible solutions. After generating a list of potential solutions, evaluate each option together. Discuss the pros and cons, considering how each solution impacts both parties. This evaluation should be based on the criteria of fairness, feasibility, and mutual benefit. You might ask, "How would this solution work for you?" Or, "What concerns do you have about this option?" These questions help ensure that both parties are engaged in the decision-making process. It's also helpful to prioritize the solutions based on their potential effectiveness and acceptability. Identify the solutions that best address the needs and concerns of both parties. This prioritization can make it easier to agree on a course of action. For example, you might say, "It seems like this solution addresses both our main concerns. Should we try this one first?" Once you agree on a solution, create an action plan outlining the steps needed to implement it. This plan should be clear and specific, detailing who will do what and by when. Having a concrete plan helps ensure that both parties are committed to the solution and know what is expected of them. You might say, "Let's write down our plan so we're both clear on what needs to happen next." Collaboration doesn't end with agreeing on a solution. Follow-up is crucial to ensure that the plan is being implemented effectively and that it is addressing the problem. Schedule a check-in to discuss progress and make any necessary adjustments. You might say, "Can we set a time next week to review how this is working?" This ongoing dialogue reinforces the commitment to resolving the conflict and allows for continuous improvement. It's also important to celebrate successes along the way. Acknowledge when things are going well and express appreciation for the other person's efforts. Positive reinforcement can strengthen the relationship and build momentum for continued cooperation. You might say, "I really appreciate how you've been working with me on this. It's made a big difference." Sometimes, despite best efforts, the initial solution may not work as expected. If this happens, approach the situation with the same collaborative spirit. Revisit the problem, evaluate what went wrong, and brainstorm new solutions. This iterative process demonstrates resilience and a commitment to finding a workable resolution. Using collaborative problem-solving in conflict resolution not only addresses the immediate issue, but also builds stronger, more cooperative relationships. This approach fosters mutual respect, open communication, and a shared sense of responsibility for outcomes. By working together to solve problems, both parties can achieve more satisfying and lasting resolutions, transforming conflicts into opportunities for growth and collaboration. Number 8. Practice forgiveness and let go of grudges. Having engaged in collaborative problem-solving, it's essential to practice forgiveness and let go of grudges to fully resolve the conflict and move forward. Holding on to resentment can undermine any progress made and prevent genuine reconciliation. Forgiveness starts with the decision to let go of negative feelings and resentment towards the other person. It's a conscious choice to release the emotional burden of the conflict, which can be incredibly liberating. This doesn't mean condoning the other person's behavior or forgetting the incident, but rather freeing yourself from the grip of anger and bitterness. Acknowledge your feelings honestly and give yourself permission to let them go. Begin by reflecting on the impact of holding a grudge. Resentment can consume your thoughts and emotions, affecting your overall well-being and even your physical health. Consider how much energy and time you spend dwelling on the conflict. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to redirect that energy towards positive and constructive endeavors? Recognizing the personal toll of holding a grudge can motivate you to embrace forgiveness. Empathy plays a crucial role in forgiveness. Try to understand the other person's perspective and motivations. What might have led them to act the way they did? Understanding doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help humanize them and reduce the intensity of your negative emotions. You might find that they were acting out of their own pain, fear, or misunderstanding. It's also important to communicate your decision to forgive. If appropriate, express your forgiveness to the other person. This can be a powerful step towards healing and rebuilding trust. You might say, "I've been holding on to some negative feelings about our disagreement, but I've decided to let it go. I forgive you." This act of forgiveness can open the door to deeper connection and understanding. Forgiveness is as much for you as it is for the other person. Holding on to anger and resentment keeps you tied to the past and prevents you from fully enjoying the present. By forgiving, you free yourself to live more fully and positively. It's a gift you give to yourself as much as to the other person. In some cases, the other person may not be ready to apologize or acknowledge their role in the conflict. Even so, you can still choose to forgive for your own peace of mind. Forgiveness doesn't require the other person's participation or approval. It's an internal process that you can undertake independently. Letting go of grudges also involves a commitment to not bring up the past conflict in future disagreements. Once you've resolved an issue, refrain from using it as ammunition in new conflicts. This helps create a clean slate and builds trust that past mistakes won't be continuously held against the other person. You might say to yourself, "I've decided to forgive and move on, and I won't revisit this issue in future discussions." Forgiveness can be challenging, especially in the face of deep hurt or betrayal. It's okay to take your time with the process. Forgiveness is not about rushing to forget, but about gradually releasing the hold that negative emotions have on you. Seek support from friends, family, or a therapist if you find it difficult to forgive. Talking through your feelings with someone you trust can provide clarity and emotional relief. It's also helpful to practice self-forgiveness. Conflicts often involve mutual mistakes and misunderstandings. Acknowledge any role you may have played in the conflict and forgive yourself for any missteps. This self-compassion is crucial for your own healing and for creating a foundation of empathy and understanding towards others. As you practice forgiveness, consider adopting a mindset of gratitude. Focus on the positive aspects of your relationship with the other person and the valuable lessons learned from the conflict. Gratitude can shift your perspective from what went wrong to what you can appreciate and build upon. Ultimately, practicing forgiveness and letting go of grudges is about embracing a forward-looking approach to relationships and conflicts. It's about choosing peace over conflict, growth over stagnation, and connection over division. By forgiving and releasing grudges, you not only resolve the immediate conflict, but also pave the way for healthier and more fulfilling interactions in the future. Number 9. Develop emotional intelligence. Having embraced forgiveness and the importance of letting go of grudges, the next step in effectively dealing with conflict is to develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the ability to understand, manage, and use your emotions positively to communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. Emotional intelligence comprises several key components: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Enhancing these components can greatly improve your ability to handle conflicts constructively. Start with self-awareness, which involves recognizing your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. Pay attention to your emotional responses in various situations, especially during conflicts. Keeping a journal can help track your feelings and reactions, allowing you to identify patterns and triggers. For example, you might notice that you tend to become defensive when you feel criticized. Awareness of this tendency can help you consciously choose a different response. Self-regulation follows self-awareness. It involves managing your emotions and impulses, staying in control, and thinking before acting. When you feel a surge of anger or frustration, practice techniques to calm yourself down, such as deep breathing, counting to 10, or taking a short walk. Self-regulation helps you respond to conflicts thoughtfully rather than reactively. You might say to yourself, "I feel angry right now, but I'm going to take a moment to calm down before responding." Motivation within the context of emotional intelligence is about using your emotions to stay positive and focused on your goals, even in the face of challenges. During conflicts, remind yourself of the bigger picture and the importance of resolving the issue constructively. Focus on the benefits of finding a solution, such as improved relationships and reduced stress. This positive outlook can keep you motivated to engage in productive conflict resolution. Empathy, another crucial component of emotional intelligence, involves understanding and sharing the feelings of others. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and try to see the situation from their perspective. Ask yourself, how would I feel if I were in their position? Empathy fosters a deeper connection and can transform adversarial interactions into cooperative ones. It also helps you respond more compassionately and effectively to the other person's needs and concerns. Social skills are the final component of emotional intelligence and are essential for managing relationships and navigating social complexities. Effective communication, active listening, and conflict resolution skills all fall under this category. Practice active listening by giving the other person your full attention, nodding, and summarizing what they've said to show you understand. Develop your communication skills by expressing your thoughts clearly and respectfully. Improving your emotional intelligence also involves being open to feedback and learning from your experiences. After a conflict, reflect on what went well and what could have been handled better. Seek feedback from the other person if appropriate, and be willing to consider their perspective on how you can improve. This continuous learning process helps you develop greater emotional intelligence over time. In addition to personal reflection and feedback, consider engaging in activities that specifically target emotional intelligence development. This could include reading books on the subject, attending workshops or seminars, or even working with a coach or therapist who specializes in emotional intelligence. These resources can provide valuable insights and practical tools to enhance your EQ. Practicing mindfulness is another effective way to develop emotional intelligence. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Regular mindfulness practice can increase your self-awareness and help you manage your emotions more effectively. Techniques such as meditation, mindful breathing, or simply taking a few moments each day to check in with yourself can be beneficial. Building emotional intelligence is an ongoing process, and it requires commitment and practice. However, the benefits extend far beyond conflict resolution. Higher emotional intelligence can lead to better relationships, improved mental health, greater career success, and a more fulfilling life overall. By developing emotional intelligence, you equip yourself with the skills to handle conflicts in a mature, empathetic, and effective manner. This not only helps resolve immediate issues, but also strengthens your ability to navigate future conflicts and build stronger, more resilient relationships. Emotional intelligence transforms the way you interact with others, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for connection and growth. Number 10. Practice patience and persistence. Building on the foundation of emotional intelligence, patience and persistence are crucial for effectively dealing with conflicts. Resolving disagreements is often a complex and time-consuming process that requires sustained effort and understanding. By practicing patience and persistence, you can navigate conflicts more successfully and foster long-term resolutions. Patience begins with accepting that conflicts are a natural part of any relationship or interaction. They are bound to happen, and they require time and effort to resolve. Understanding this can help you approach conflicts with a calmer and more composed mindset. Instead of expecting immediate solutions, prepare yourself for a process that may take multiple discussions and gradual progress. During conflicts, it's important to remain patient with yourself and the other person. Emotions can run high, and it can be tempting to push for a quick resolution. However, rushing the process can lead to misunderstandings and unresolved issues. Take the time to listen actively, understand the other person's perspective, and express your own thoughts and feelings clearly. Remind yourself that effective conflict resolution is about quality, not speed. Persistence involves a commitment to seeing the conflict resolution process through to the end. This means not giving up when the going gets tough and being willing to revisit discussions as needed. If a particular conversation doesn't yield a solution, don't view it as a failure. Instead, see it as a step in the ongoing process. You might say, "I think we made some progress today. Let's continue this discussion tomorrow." It's also important to be persistent in maintaining a positive and constructive attitude. Conflicts can be draining, and it's easy to become discouraged. However, staying focused on the ultimate goal of resolution and improved relationships can help you stay motivated. Keep reminding yourself of the benefits of resolving the conflict, such as increased understanding, stronger relationships, and reduced stress. Patience and persistence are also essential when dealing with setbacks. Conflicts often have ups and downs, and it's not uncommon to encounter obstacles along the way. If new issues arise or if emotions flare up again, take a step back and approach the situation with renewed patience. Acknowledge the setback, but don't let it derail the overall process. Instead, use it as an opportunity to reassess and adjust your approach if needed. During prolonged conflicts, it's helpful to celebrate small victories and progress. Acknowledge the efforts both you and the other person are making towards resolution. Positive reinforcement can boost morale and encourage continued effort. You might say, "I appreciate that we're both working hard to resolve this. Let's keep moving forward." Another aspect of persistence is being open to ongoing learning and adaptation. Each conflict provides valuable lessons that can inform your approach to future disagreements. Reflect on what strategies worked well and what could be improved. Be willing to adjust your methods and try new approaches as needed. This flexibility and willingness to learn contribute to a more effective conflict resolution process. Maintaining patience also involves managing your expectations. Understand that not all conflicts will be resolved to everyone's complete satisfaction. Sometimes, the best outcome is a compromise that both parties can live with. By setting realistic expectations, you can reduce frustration and focus on finding practical solutions that address the most important issues. Self-care is crucial during prolonged conflicts. Dealing with ongoing disagreements can be stressful and emotionally taxing. Ensure that you take time to recharge and take care of your mental and physical well-being. Engage in activities that help you relax and de-stress, such as exercise, hobbies, or spending time with loved ones. Taking care of yourself ensures that you have the energy and resilience needed to persist through the conflict resolution process. In some cases, seeking external support can be beneficial. If you find that the conflict is particularly challenging or emotionally draining, consider seeking guidance from a mediator, counselor, or trusted third party. External support can provide new perspectives, facilitate communication, and help both parties stay committed to resolving the issue. By practicing patience and persistence, you demonstrate a commitment to resolving conflicts in a thoughtful and constructive manner. This approach helps build trust and respect, making it more likely that both parties will remain engaged in the process. Patience and persistence are key to navigating the complexities of conflict resolution and achieving lasting positive outcomes. Embracing these qualities not only helps resolve the immediate conflict, but also strengthens your ability to handle future disagreements with grace and resilience. Number 11. Focus on building trust. Following the practice of patience and persistence, another critical aspect of dealing with conflict effectively is focusing on building trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship and is especially important when navigating conflicts. Without trust, it is challenging to have open, honest, and productive discussions. Building trust begins with honesty and transparency. Be truthful in your communications and avoid hiding relevant information. Trust grows when both parties feel that they can rely on each other to be honest, even when the truth is difficult or uncomfortable. When discussing conflicts, openly share your thoughts and feelings without embellishment or deception. This openness fosters a sense of security and trustworthiness. Consistency is another key factor in building trust. Consistently following through on your commitments and promises demonstrates reliability. If you agree to take certain actions or make changes, ensure that you do so. Consistency in words and actions shows that you are dependable and that your contributions to resolving the conflict can be trusted. For instance, if you promise to be more attentive during discussions, make a concerted effort to actively listen and engage in future conversations. Respecting confidentiality is also crucial. When someone shares personal or sensitive information with you, honor their trust by keeping that information private. Breaching confidentiality can severely damage trust and make it much harder to resolve conflicts. Respecting each other's privacy and boundaries builds a foundation of mutual respect and trust. Another important aspect of trust building is showing empathy. Demonstrate that you understand and care about the other person's feelings and perspectives. Empathy helps bridge gaps and shows that you value the other person's experience. You might say, "I can see that this situation has been really challenging for you, and I appreciate your willingness to discuss it with me." This acknowledgement helps build emotional trust and deepens the connection between both parties. Admitting mistakes and taking responsibility for your actions is also essential in building trust. If you realize you have made an error or contributed to the conflict, own up to it and apologize sincerely. This accountability shows humility and a commitment to personal growth, which can enhance trust. You might say, "I realize that my actions hurt you, and I'm truly sorry. I will work on being more mindful in the future." Building trust also involves giving trust. Demonstrate your trust in the other person by being open to their ideas and perspectives, and by believing in their intentions to resolve the conflict positively. This mutual trust fosters a collaborative atmosphere where both parties feel valued and respected. You might say, "I trust that you're coming from a place of wanting to resolve this issue just as much as I am." Trust building is an ongoing process, especially in the aftermath of conflicts. It's important to maintain trust through continuous positive interactions and reinforcement. This means regularly checking in with each other, being supportive, and showing appreciation for each other's efforts. Consistent positive interactions help rebuild and strengthen trust over time. Patience is also required in rebuilding trust, especially if it has been broken. Understand that trust takes time to restore and be patient with the process. Show through your actions and words that you are committed to rebuilding the trust and that you value the relationship. This perseverance demonstrates your dedication to mending and strengthening the bond. Celebrating small successes and progress can also help in building trust. Acknowledge and appreciate the efforts both of you are making to resolve the conflict and improve the relationship. Positive reinforcement and recognition of each other's contributions can enhance trust and motivate continued cooperation. You might say, "I really appreciate how we were able to talk through that issue calmly. It shows how much we've grown." In some situations, trust building may require setting new boundaries or renegotiating existing ones. Discuss and agree on boundaries that protect both parties' comfort and respect. Clearly defined boundaries can prevent future conflicts and create a safe space for honest communication. This clarity further reinforces trust and mutual respect. Finally, seek to understand and respect each other's perspectives and experiences. Acknowledge that everyone has different backgrounds and viewpoints that shape their reactions and behaviors. This understanding fosters empathy and reduces the likelihood of misunderstandings that can damage trust. You might say, "I understand that your experiences have shaped your views, and I respect that. Let's find a way to incorporate both our perspectives." Focusing on building trust transforms the conflict resolution process into an opportunity to strengthen your relationship. By being honest, consistent, empathetic, and accountable, you create a foundation of trust that allows for open and constructive dialogue. This trust not only helps resolve the current conflict, but also equips you to handle future disagreements more effectively and with greater confidence in each other. Number 12. Use constructive feedback. Following the emphasis on building trust, another essential strategy for resolving conflicts effectively is to use constructive feedback. Constructive feedback is a powerful tool that can help address issues directly while promoting growth and improvement. When done correctly, it fosters a positive and supportive environment where both parties feel valued and motivated to change. Start by ensuring your feedback is specific and focused on behaviors rather than personal traits. General or vague feedback can be misinterpreted and may lead to defensiveness. Instead of saying, "You're always inconsiderate," specify the behavior. "When you interrupt me during meetings, it makes it hard for me to share my ideas." This approach targets the action that needs to change without attacking the person's character. Timing and setting are crucial when giving feedback. Choose a time when both parties are calm and not distracted. A private setting is often best to avoid embarrassment or defensiveness. Begin the conversation with a positive note to set a constructive tone. You might say, "I appreciate the effort you put into our projects, and I'd like to discuss something that could improve our teamwork even more." Using I statements in your feedback helps to express your feelings and perspectives without sounding accusatory. This method reduces the likelihood of the other person feeling attacked and becoming defensive. For example, "I feel frustrated when meetings run late because it affects my schedule," is more effective than "You always make meetings run late." It's also essential to balance feedback with positive reinforcement. Highlighting what the other person is doing well shows that you recognize and appreciate their efforts, which can make them more receptive to your suggestions for improvement. You might say, "I really value your input during meetings. It's clear you put a lot of thought into your ideas. It would help even more if we could stay on schedule." When giving feedback, focus on solutions and offer support for improvement. Instead of merely pointing out what's wrong, suggest ways to address the issue. This demonstrates that you are invested in helping the other person succeed and are not just criticizing them. For instance, "I think it would help if we set clear time limits for each agenda item during our meetings. I'm happy to help with keeping track of the time." Encouraging a two-way dialogue is also crucial. Invite the other person to share their thoughts and perspectives on the issue. This can provide valuable insights and promote mutual understanding. Ask open-ended questions like, "How do you feel about the current meeting structure?" or "What do you think could help us improve our time management?" This approach shows that you value their input and are open to collaborative problem-solving. Listening actively to the other person's response to your feedback is just as important as giving the feedback itself. Show empathy and understanding and be open to their perspective. If they feel heard and understood, they are more likely to engage positively with the feedback. You might say, "I see where you're coming from, and I appreciate you sharing your view. Let's work together to find a solution." Practicing empathy and patience is key when the other person responds to your feedback. They might need time to process what you've said, especially if it's about a sensitive issue. Be patient and give them space to absorb and reflect on the feedback. Reassure them that your goal is to support their growth and improve the situation for both of you. If you're on the receiving end of feedback, approach it with an open mind and a willingness to improve. View feedback as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal attack. Ask clarifying questions if something is unclear and express appreciation for the other person's input. You might say, "Thank you for sharing that with me. I hadn't realized the impact my actions were having. I'll work on that." Implementing feedback requires commitment and follow-through. Make a plan to address the issues raised and set specific, achievable goals. Regularly review your progress and seek additional feedback to ensure you're on the right track. This continuous improvement loop fosters a culture of growth and accountability. Constructive feedback should also be a regular part of your interactions, not just something that happens during conflicts. Regularly giving and receiving feedback helps maintain open communication and prevents small issues from escalating into major conflicts. Make feedback a routine part of your relationships to build trust and promote ongoing improvement. Using constructive feedback is a vital strategy for resolving conflicts and fostering a positive, growth-oriented environment. By being specific, empathetic, and solution-focused, you can address issues effectively while maintaining and strengthening your relationships. Constructive feedback not only helps resolve current conflicts, but also promotes continuous improvement and mutual respect, ensuring healthier and more productive interactions in the future. Number 13. Embrace diversity and different perspectives. Following the use of constructive feedback, embracing diversity and different perspectives is crucial in effectively dealing with conflicts. Acknowledging and valuing diverse viewpoints can enrich discussions, foster creativity, and lead to more comprehensive and innovative solutions. Start by recognizing that everyone brings unique experiences, backgrounds, and perspectives to the table. These differences can provide valuable insights that might not be apparent from your own viewpoint. Embracing diversity means being open to and curious about these different perspectives, rather than seeing them as obstacles to overcome. Approach conflicts with an open mind, ready to learn from the other person's perspective. Ask yourself, what can I learn from their viewpoint? And how might their experiences shape their understanding of the issue? This mindset shift helps you appreciate the richness that diverse perspectives bring to the conversation and can lead to more empathetic and productive discussions. Encourage the other person to share their perspective in detail. Ask open-ended questions like, "Can you tell me more about how you see this issue?" Or, "What experiences have influenced your view?" Listening attentively to their answers without interrupting or immediately countering helps you gain a deeper understanding of their position. This openness can reveal common ground or new solutions that you hadn't considered. Validate their experiences and feelings. Acknowledging the validity of their perspective doesn't mean you have to agree with them entirely, but it shows respect and a willingness to understand. You might say, "I understand that your background gives you a different take on this, and I appreciate you sharing that with me." Incorporate diverse perspectives into problem solving. Once you've heard and understood the different viewpoints, use this information to enhance the solution-finding process. Diverse perspectives can reveal blind spots and lead to more robust and creative solutions. For example, you might say, "Considering your experience with this issue, how do you think we could approach it differently?" Create an environment that values diversity and encourages open dialogue. This can be achieved by setting ground rules that promote respect and active listening, ensuring that everyone feels safe to express their views. Regularly soliciting input from all parties involved in a conflict helps build a culture where diverse perspectives are valued and considered. It's also important to educate yourself about different cultural backgrounds and viewpoints. Understanding cultural nuances and the context behind different perspectives can help you approach conflicts with greater empathy and sensitivity. This proactive approach demonstrates respect for diversity and a commitment to inclusive conflict resolution. Be aware of any biases or assumptions you may hold. We all have unconscious biases that can affect how we perceive and interact with others. Reflect on these biases and actively work to challenge and overcome them. This self-awareness can help you engage more fairly and openly with diverse perspectives. Encouraging a collaborative approach to conflict resolution can also help harness the power of diversity. When everyone feels that their perspective is valued and considered, they are more likely to contribute positively to finding a solution. This collaborative spirit fosters a sense of teamwork and mutual respect. Celebrate the strengths that diverse perspectives bring to conflict resolution. Recognize and appreciate the unique contributions of each person involved. This positive reinforcement can encourage continued openness and collaboration. You might say, "I'm really glad we had this discussion. Your perspective has added a lot to our understanding of the issue." Incorporating diverse perspectives into conflict resolution can also involve seeking input from outside your immediate circle. Sometimes, consulting with individuals who have different experiences or expertise can provide new insights and help break through impasses. This broader approach can lead to more innovative and effective solutions. Finally, embracing diversity and different perspectives requires ongoing commitment. It's not a one-time effort, but a continuous process of learning, growing, and adapting. Regularly engaging with diverse viewpoints, seeking feedback, and being open to change helps ensure that this approach becomes an integral part of your conflict resolution strategy. By embracing diversity and different perspectives, you enrich the conflict resolution process and create an environment where all voices are heard and valued. This inclusive approach not only helps resolve conflicts more effectively, but also strengthens relationships and fosters a culture of mutual respect and understanding. Diversity is a powerful asset in conflict resolution, leading to more comprehensive, innovative, and sustainable solutions. Number 14. Cultivate a solution-oriented mindset. Building on the appreciation for diverse perspectives, cultivating a solution-oriented mindset is essential for effective conflict resolution. This approach focuses on finding practical and mutually beneficial solutions rather than dwelling on the problem or assigning blame. By keeping your eye on the goal of resolution, you can navigate conflicts more constructively and collaboratively. Start by framing conflicts as opportunities for growth and improvement. Instead of seeing disagreements as obstacles, view them as chances to develop better understanding and stronger relationships. This positive reframing can help shift the focus from what's wrong to what can be improved, setting the stage for a more productive dialogue. When approaching a conflict, articulate your willingness to find a solution. Begin conversations with statements that emphasize your intent to resolve the issue together. For example, "I believe we can work through this and find a solution that works for both of us." This sets a collaborative tone and demonstrates your commitment to resolving the conflict constructively. Engage in active problem solving by focusing on specific, actionable steps that can address the issue at hand. Break down the problem into manageable parts and tackle each one systematically. This methodical approach makes the process less overwhelming and more manageable. You might say, "Let's identify the main issues and work on them one by one." Encourage brainstorming sessions where both parties can freely suggest solutions. During these sessions, aim to generate as many ideas as possible without immediate judgment. This open exchange can uncover innovative solutions that might not have been considered otherwise. Use prompts like, "What are some ways we can address this?" or "How can we improve this situation?" It's important to stay flexible and open to different possibilities. Be willing to consider alternative solutions and adjust your approach as needed. Flexibility shows that you are focused on finding the best outcome rather than rigidly sticking to a preconceived idea. You might say, "I'm open to trying different approaches until we find what works best." Maintaining a positive and optimistic attitude can significantly impact the conflict resolution process. Believe in the possibility of a successful resolution and convey this confidence to the other person. Optimism can be contagious, and help both parties stay motivated and engaged in finding a solution. You might say, "I'm confident that we can find a way to make this work." Regularly check in on the progress of your resolution efforts. Evaluate what's working and what isn't, and be prepared to make necessary adjustments. This ongoing assessment helps ensure that the solutions are effective and that any new issues are promptly addressed. Ask questions like, "How do you feel about the progress we've made?" or "Are there any adjustments we need to make?" In addition to focusing on immediate solutions, consider the long-term implications of your resolution strategies. Aim to create solutions that not only address the current conflict, but also prevent similar issues from arising in the future. This forward-thinking approach helps build a more resilient and harmonious relationship. You might say, "Let's also think about how we can avoid this issue going forward." Celebrate and acknowledge the progress made during the resolution process. Recognizing small victories and improvements can boost morale and reinforce the commitment to resolving the conflict. Positive reinforcement encourages continued effort and collaboration. You might say, "I'm really pleased with how we've managed to address these issues together." Foster a culture of continuous improvement by encouraging feedback and reflection. After resolving a conflict, take time to reflect on what worked well and what could be improved. Use this insight to enhance your conflict resolution strategies for future situations. Ask for feedback with questions like, "What did you find most helpful during our discussions?" or "How can we handle things even better next time?" Cultivating a solution-oriented mindset requires practice and commitment. It involves consistently focusing on finding practical and constructive outcomes, maintaining a positive attitude, and being open to new ideas. Over time, this approach can transform how you handle conflicts, making them opportunities for growth and collaboration rather than sources of stress and division. By embracing a solution-oriented mindset, you equip yourself to navigate conflicts more effectively and build stronger, more resilient relationships. This proactive and positive approach ensures that conflicts are addressed constructively, leading to mutually beneficial outcomes and fostering a culture of continuous improvement and collaboration. Number 15. Develop conflict resolution skills through practice and training. Following the cultivation of a solution-oriented mindset, another key aspect of effectively dealing with conflict is to actively develop your conflict resolution skills through practice and training. Conflict resolution is a skill that can be honed with intentional effort and ongoing learning. By continuously improving your abilities, you can handle conflicts more effectively and with greater confidence. Begin by seeking out educational resources on conflict resolution. Books, articles, and online courses can provide valuable insights and techniques. These resources often cover a range of topics, from communication strategies to emotional intelligence, offering a comprehensive toolkit for handling conflicts. Make it a habit to regularly engage with such materials to stay informed and improve your skills. Workshops and seminars on conflict resolution can offer hands-on experience and direct feedback from experts. Participating in these events provides an opportunity to practice new techniques in a supportive environment and receive constructive feedback. Look for workshops in your community or online that focus on conflict resolution, negotiation, and related topics. Role-playing exercises are particularly effective in developing conflict resolution skills. These exercises simulate real-life conflict scenarios and allow you to practice your response strategies in a controlled setting. Whether done in a workshop or with a trusted friend, role-playing helps you become more comfortable and proficient in handling conflicts. For example, you might practice negotiating a difficult work situation or resolving a personal disagreement. Mentorship can also play a significant role in enhancing your conflict resolution abilities. Seek out a mentor who is skilled in conflict resolution and can provide guidance, support, and feedback. A mentor can offer practical advice based on their own experiences and help you navigate challenging situations more effectively. You might say, "I'd love to learn more about how you handle conflicts so successfully. Can you offer some advice or share your experiences?" Reflecting on past conflicts and analyzing your responses is another valuable practice. Take time to consider what went well and what could have been handled differently. This reflection helps you identify patterns in your behavior and areas for improvement. Journaling about these experiences can provide deeper insights and track your progress over time. Practicing mindfulness and self-awareness can also enhance your conflict resolution skills. Mindfulness helps you and focus during conflicts, enabling you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Mindfulness practice, such as meditation or deep breathing exercises, can improve your ability to manage stress and maintain composure in challenging situations. Building strong interpersonal skills is fundamental to effective conflict resolution. Focus on improving your communication, empathy, and active listening skills. These skills form the foundation of productive conflict resolution and can be strengthened through practice and intentional interactions. Engage in conversations with the goal of truly understanding the other person's perspective and expressing your own clearly and respectfully. It's also beneficial to practice negotiation skills. Negotiation is a critical aspect of conflict resolution, involving finding mutually acceptable solutions and compromises. Practice negotiating in various scenarios, both formal and informal, to build your confidence and competence. You might role-play negotiating a raise at work or settling a disagreement with a friend. Developing resilience is another important component of conflict resolution. Resilience helps you stay strong and positive in the face of conflicts and setbacks. Building resilience involves adopting a growth mindset, embracing challenges, and learning from failures. By cultivating resilience, you can approach conflicts with greater determination and optimism. Engaging in regular feedback sessions with peers or colleagues can provide valuable insights into your conflict resolution style and effectiveness. Constructive feedback from others can highlight strengths and areas for improvement that you might not have noticed yourself. Encourage open and honest feedback by asking questions like, "How do you think I handled that situation?" or "What could I do differently next time?" Finally, consider formal training or certification programs in conflict resolution or mediation. These programs offer in-depth training and often include practical components, such as simulations and case studies. Formal training can enhance your credibility and effectiveness in resolving conflicts, especially in professional settings. By actively developing your conflict resolution skills through practice and training, you equip yourself to handle conflicts more effectively and with greater confidence. This ongoing commitment to learning and improvement ensures that you are well prepared to navigate conflicts constructively and foster positive, productive relationships. Embracing this approach not only enhances your ability to resolve conflicts, but also contributes to personal growth and professional development. Number 16. Foster a collaborative environment. After developing your conflict resolution skills through practice and training, fostering a collaborative environment is essential for effectively managing and preventing conflicts. A collaborative environment encourages open communication, mutual respect, and teamwork, making it easier to address disagreements constructively. Begin by promoting a culture of open communication. Encourage everyone involved to share their thoughts, ideas, and concerns openly and honestly. Creating a safe space where people feel comfortable expressing themselves without fear of judgment or retaliation is crucial. You might say, "Our goal is to create an environment where everyone feels heard and valued. Please feel free to share your perspectives." Establishing regular meetings or check-ins can facilitate open communication. These sessions provide opportunities to discuss any issues or concerns before they escalate into conflicts. Encourage participants to voice their opinions and listen actively to each other. This proactive approach helps address potential conflicts early and maintains a positive atmosphere. Encourage teamwork and collaboration by setting clear, common goals. When everyone is working towards the same objectives, it fosters a sense of unity and shared purpose. Clearly defined goals help align efforts and reduce misunderstandings that can lead to conflicts. You might say, "Let's focus on our shared goal and find the best way to achieve it together." Fostering mutual respect is also crucial in a collaborative environment. Respect each person's opinions, even if they differ from your own. Acknowledge the value of diverse perspectives and the unique contributions each individual brings. You might say, "I respect your viewpoint, and I think we can learn a lot from each other by discussing this." Collaboration thrives on trust. Build trust by being reliable, honest, and transparent in your interactions. Trust is earned through consistent actions and open communication. Show that you trust others by delegating responsibilities and allowing them to take ownership of tasks. This empowers individuals and demonstrates your confidence in their abilities. Celebrate successes and acknowledge contributions regularly. Recognizing the efforts and achievements of team members fosters a positive environment and encourages continued collaboration. Celebrations, no matter how small, build morale and reinforce the value of teamwork. You might say, "Great job on that project. Your efforts really made a difference." It's also important to create opportunities for team building and social interactions. Activities that encourage bonding and camaraderie help build stronger relationships and improve communication. These connections make it easier to address conflicts constructively when they arise. Consider organizing team-building exercises, social events, or informal gatherings. Address conflicts promptly and constructively. When disagreements occur, approach them as opportunities for growth rather than problems to avoid. Use the skills and techniques you've developed to facilitate open discussions and find mutually beneficial solutions. Encourage a problem-solving mindset by asking, "How can we work together to resolve this?" Establish clear processes and protocols for conflict resolution. Having a defined procedure ensures that conflicts are handled consistently and fairly. This might include steps like identifying the issue, discussing perspectives, brainstorming solutions, and agreeing on an action plan. Clear processes provide structure and clarity, making it easier for everyone to navigate conflicts. Encourage empathy and understanding. Foster an environment where individuals strive to understand each other's perspectives and show compassion. Empathy bridges gaps and builds stronger connections, making it easier to collaborate and resolve conflicts. You might say, "Let's try to see this from each other's point of view and find a solution that works for both of us." Provide training and resources on collaboration and conflict resolution. Equip your team with the knowledge and tools they need to work together effectively. Training sessions, workshops, and resources on communication, teamwork, and conflict resolution can enhance everyone's skills and contribute to a more collaborative environment. Finally, lead by example. Demonstrate collaborative behavior in your interactions and conflict resolution efforts. Show openness, respect, and a willingness to work together towards solutions. Your actions set the tone for others and reinforce the importance of collaboration. You might say, I'm committed to working with all of you to create a positive and collaborative environment. By fostering a collaborative environment, you create a foundation for effective conflict resolution and a positive, productive atmosphere. This approach encourages open communication, mutual respect, and teamwork, making it easier to address disagreements constructively and prevent conflicts from escalating. Collaboration not only enhances conflict resolution, but also strengthens relationships and contributes to overall success. Number 17. Recognize and manage power dynamics. After establishing a collaborative environment, it is crucial to recognize and manage power dynamics in conflict resolution. Power imbalances can complicate conflicts, leading to feelings of resentment, fear, or helplessness. Addressing these dynamics can create a more equitable and respectful atmosphere where all parties feel heard and valued. Start by identifying any existing power imbalances. These can arise from differences in position, status, knowledge, or experience. Acknowledge that power dynamics can influence how conflicts are perceived and handled. Understanding these imbalances helps you approach conflict resolution more sensitively and fairly. You might think, how might my role or status affect this situation? When addressing conflicts, strive to create an equal footing for all parties involved. Ensure that everyone has an opportunity to voice their concerns and perspectives without feeling intimidated or overpowered. Facilitate discussions in a way that allows each person to contribute equally. You might say, let's make sure everyone has a chance to speak and share their thoughts. Encourage self-awareness regarding power dynamics. Reflect on how your actions and words might impact others, especially if you hold a position of authority. Be mindful of any unconscious biases or behaviors that might reinforce power imbalances. Self-awareness helps you engage more equitably with others. You might ask yourself, am I giving everyone an equal chance to speak and contribute? Create a safe space for dialogue by setting ground rules that promote respect and equality. These rules can include taking turns speaking, avoiding interrupting, and actively listening to each other. Ground rules help ensure that discussions remain balanced and respectful. You might say, let's agree to listen actively and avoid interrupting each other. Empower those with less perceived power by validating their experiences and contributions. Show that you value their input and are willing to consider their perspectives. This validation can help balance power dynamics and make everyone feel more comfortable participating in the conversation. You might say, I appreciate your insights and think they are very important to our discussion. Seek to understand the perspectives of those with less power by asking open-ended questions and listening empathetically. Encourage them to share their experiences and concerns openly. This approach helps uncover issues that might be overlooked and ensures that all voices are heard. You might ask, can you tell me more about how you see this issue? In situations where power dynamics are particularly pronounced, consider involving a neutral third party, such as a mediator. Mediators can help facilitate discussions and ensure that power imbalances do not hinder the conflict resolution process. Their presence can create a more neutral ground for resolving conflicts. You might say, let's bring in a mediator to help us navigate this discussion fairly. Recognize and address any systemic issues that contribute to power imbalances. This might involve reviewing and revising organizational policies, practices, or structures that perpetuate inequality. Addressing these root causes can create a more equitable environment and reduce the likelihood of power-related conflicts. You might think, are there policies in place that might be contributing to these power imbalances? Provide training and resources on power dynamics and conflict resolution. Educating yourself and others about the impact of power imbalances and how to manage them effectively can enhance your ability to handle conflicts equitably. Training can include topics like unconscious bias, inclusive communication, and equitable decision-making. You might say, let's arrange for training on managing power dynamics to help us work together more effectively. Model equitable behavior in your interactions. Demonstrate respect, fairness, and inclusivity in all your dealings, especially during conflicts. Your behavior sets an example for others and reinforces the importance of managing power dynamics thoughtfully. You might say, I'm committed to ensuring our discussions are fair and inclusive for everyone. Finally, continually assess and adjust your approach to managing power dynamics. Regularly reflect on how power dynamics influence your interactions and seek feedback from others on how you can improve. This ongoing commitment to equity helps create a more balanced and respectful environment. You might ask, how can I better support equitable participation in our discussions? By recognizing and managing power dynamics, you create a more equitable and respectful environment for conflict resolution. This approach ensures that all parties feel heard and valued, leading to more effective and lasting resolutions. Addressing power imbalances not only improves conflict resolution, but also contributes to a more inclusive and supportive culture overall. Number 18. Encourage accountability and responsibility. Following the recognition and management of power dynamics, encouraging accountability and responsibility is a critical aspect of effective conflict resolution. Holding oneself and others accountable fosters a culture of trust, reliability, and mutual respect, which are essential for resolving conflicts constructively. Start by setting clear expectations for accountability. When entering a discussion or attempting to resolve a conflict, clearly outline what is expected from all parties involved. This includes being honest, respectful, and committed to finding a solution. Clear expectations provide a framework that everyone can adhere to, ensuring that the process remains focused and productive. You might say, let's agree to be open and honest during our discussion and work towards a solution together. Encourage self-reflection and ownership of actions. When individuals acknowledge their role in a conflict, it paves the way for genuine resolution. Prompt self-reflection by asking questions like, what do you think you could have done differently in this situation? Or, how can we each contribute to resolving this issue? These questions help individuals recognize their part in the conflict and take responsibility for their actions. Model accountability in your behavior. Demonstrate a willingness to admit mistakes and take responsibility for your actions. This sets a positive example and encourages others to do the same. You might say, I realize that my actions contributed to this issue and I apologize. Here's what I will do to make amends. By owning your mistakes, you create an environment where accountability is valued and respected. Establish a system for follow-up and review. After agreeing on a resolution or action plan, set specific timelines for follow-up discussions to assess progress and address any ongoing issues. This ensures that commitments are honored and that any necessary adjustments can be made. You might say, let's check in next week to see how things are going and make sure we're on track. Encourage mutual accountability by fostering a sense of shared responsibility. Emphasize that resolving conflicts is a collective effort and that everyone has a role to play. This approach builds a team-oriented mindset and ensures that all parties are committed to the resolution process. You might say, we all have a part in making this work, so let's support each other and hold ourselves accountable. Use constructive feedback to reinforce accountability. When someone fulfills their commitments or makes positive contributions, acknowledge and appreciate their efforts. Conversely, if someone falls short, provide constructive feedback to address the issue. This balanced approach helps maintain accountability while fostering a supportive environment. You might say, "I appreciate your effort in resolving this issue, and I think we can continue to improve by doing X." Develop a culture of transparency and openness. Encourage open communication about progress, challenges, and any deviations from the agreed-upon plan. Transparency builds trust and ensures that everyone is aware of the status of the resolution process. You might say, "Let's keep each other informed about any challenges we face and work together to overcome them." Create a supportive environment that encourages accountability without fear of blame or retribution. When individuals feel safe to admit mistakes and take responsibility, they are more likely to engage honestly in the resolution process. Emphasize learning and growth rather than punishment. You might say, "We're all learning from this experience, and it's important that we support each other in taking responsibility and moving forward." Encourage accountability through positive reinforcement. Recognize and reward behaviors that demonstrate responsibility and commitment to resolving conflicts. Positive reinforcement can motivate individuals to maintain high standards of accountability. You might say, "I'm really impressed with how you took responsibility for your part in this. It's a great example for all of us." Foster an environment where feedback is regularly sought and given. Encourage individuals to ask for feedback on their actions and to provide feedback to others in a constructive manner. Regular feedback loops help maintain accountability and continuous improvement. You might say, "Let's make feedback a regular part of our process so we can keep improving." By encouraging accountability and responsibility, you create a foundation of trust and reliability in conflict resolution. This approach ensures that all parties are committed to the process and take ownership of their actions, leading to more effective and lasting resolutions. Accountability not only resolves current conflicts, but also strengthens relationships and promotes a culture of integrity and mutual respect. Number 19. Practice gratitude and positivity. Building on the importance of accountability and responsibility, practicing gratitude and positivity can significantly enhance the conflict resolution process. A positive outlook and a focus on gratitude can transform the way conflicts are perceived and handled, fostering a more constructive and harmonious environment. Start by cultivating a habit of gratitude. Regularly expressing appreciation for the contributions and efforts of others can create a positive atmosphere that encourages cooperation and goodwill. When people feel valued and recognized, they are more likely to engage positively in conflict resolution. You might say, "I really appreciate your willingness to discuss this issue and find a solution together." Incorporate positive language and affirmations in your communications. Positive language can help de-escalate tensions and create a more collaborative tone. Instead of focusing on the negatives or what went wrong, highlight what can be improved and the potential for positive outcomes. For example, rather than saying, "This always goes wrong," you might say, "We have an opportunity to make this better." During conflict resolution discussions, make it a point to recognize and celebrate small successes. Acknowledge progress and the efforts made by everyone involved, no matter how minor they may seem. Celebrating these small wins can boost morale and motivation, making the resolution process more enjoyable and effective. You might say, "I'm glad we were able to agree on this first step. It's a great start." Fostering a positive mindset also involves focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Encourage everyone involved to think creatively and constructively about how to resolve the conflict. By maintaining a positive outlook, you can inspire others to adopt the same approach, leading to more effective problem solving. You might ask, what are some positive steps we can take to address this issue? Encourage a culture of positivity by leading by example. Demonstrate optimism and positivity in your interactions, especially during challenging situations. Your attitude can influence others and set the tone for how conflicts are handled. You might say, "I'm confident that we can work through this together and find a solution that benefits everyone." Practicing gratitude and positivity also involves being mindful of the emotional climate during conflict resolution. Pay attention to the mood and emotions of everyone involved and take steps to maintain a positive and respectful atmosphere. If tensions rise, use calming and reassuring language to bring the focus back to constructive dialogue. You might say, "Let's take a moment to regroup and approach this with a positive mindset." Encourage self-care and well-being as part of maintaining a positive environment. When individuals feel good about themselves and their contributions, they are more likely to engage positively in conflict resolution. Promote activities and practices that enhance well-being, such as taking breaks, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in team-building exercises. You might suggest, "Let's take a short break to clear our minds before we continue this discussion." Expressing gratitude and positivity also means being genuinely interested in the well-being of others. Show empathy and compassion and be willing to support others when they need it. This supportive approach can strengthen relationships and create a more collaborative environment. You might say, "I understand this situation is challenging and I'm here to support you in any way I can." Encourage a forward-looking perspective. Focus on how resolving the conflict can lead to positive outcomes and improvements in relationships or processes. Emphasizing the future and the benefits of resolution can help shift the focus from past grievances to constructive actions. You might say, "Resolving this issue will help us work better together in the future and achieve our goals more effectively." Finally, practice gratitude and positivity consistently, not just during conflicts. Make these practices a regular part of your interactions and organizational culture. Regular expressions of appreciation and a positive attitude can create a foundation of trust and cooperation that makes conflict resolution more straightforward and less frequent. By practicing gratitude and positivity, you create an environment that is conducive to effective conflict resolution. This approach fosters a sense of appreciation, cooperation, and mutual respect, making it easier to address disagreements constructively and collaboratively. Gratitude and positivity not only enhance the conflict resolution process, but also contribute to a more harmonious and productive overall environment. Number 20. Establish long-term strategies for conflict prevention. After practicing gratitude and positivity, it is essential to establish long-term strategies for preventing conflicts. By proactively addressing potential sources of conflict, you can create a more harmonious and productive environment where issues are less likely to escalate into serious disagreements. Begin by fostering a culture of open communication. Encourage regular, transparent dialogues about expectations, goals, and concerns. When people feel comfortable discussing issues openly, misunderstandings and frustrations can be addressed early on, preventing them from developing into larger conflicts. You might say, "Let's make sure we have regular check-ins to discuss any concerns or ideas." Implementing regular feedback mechanisms is another effective strategy. Create formal and informal opportunities for team members to provide feedback on processes, decisions, and interactions. This continuous feedback loop helps identify potential issues before they escalate and allows for timely adjustments. You might say, "We'll have a feedback session at the end of each project to discuss what went well and what could be improved." Training and development programs can also play a crucial role in conflict prevention. Provide training on effective communication, emotional intelligence, and conflict resolution skills. Equipping team members with these skills can reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings and help them manage disagreements constructively. You might suggest, let's organize a workshop on effective communication techniques. Establish clear roles and responsibilities to prevent conflicts related to ambiguity and overlapping duties. When everyone understands their responsibilities and how they contribute to the overall goals, it reduces the chances of conflict arising from confusion or perceived inequities. You might say, let's clearly define everyone's roles and responsibilities to ensure we all know what's expected. Encouraging collaboration and teamwork can also help prevent conflicts. Foster a sense of unity and shared purpose by promoting cooperative projects and team-building activities. When individuals work together towards common goals, it builds stronger relationships and a better understanding of each other's perspectives. You might organize team-building activities to strengthen our collaboration and communication skills. Recognize and address stress and workload issues. High stress and excessive workloads can be significant sources of conflict. Ensure that workloads are manageable and provide support and resources to help team members cope with stress. You might say, let's regularly review workloads to ensure they are balanced and sustainable. Developing a conflict resolution policy can provide a clear framework for addressing disputes. This policy should outline the steps to take when a conflict arises, ensuring that everyone knows how to proceed and what resources are available. Having a formal process can help resolve conflicts more efficiently and fairly. You might say, we'll create a conflict resolution policy that outlines the steps to take when issues arise. Promote diversity and inclusion to create a more harmonious environment. Embracing diverse perspectives and fostering an inclusive atmosphere can reduce conflicts related to misunderstandings or biases. Encourage respect for differences and provide training on cultural competency and inclusivity. You might say, let's ensure our team is inclusive and respectful of all perspectives. Regularly assess and improve organizational policies and practices. Continuously evaluate whether policies are effective in preventing conflicts and make necessary adjustments. This proactive approach helps create a supportive environment. You might suggest, let's review our policies regularly to ensure they are effective in promoting a positive work environment. Encourage personal and professional development. Support team members in pursuing their goals and improving their skills. When individuals feel valued and see opportunities for growth, it fosters a positive environment and reduces the likelihood of conflicts arising from dissatisfaction or frustration. You might say, let's provide opportunities for professional development to help everyone reach their full potential. Finally, lead by example in promoting a positive and proactive approach to conflict prevention. Demonstrate effective communication, respect for others, and a commitment to resolving issues constructively. Your actions set the tone for the entire team and reinforce the importance of these values. You might say, I'm committed to fostering an environment where we can address issues openly and respectfully. By establishing long-term strategies for conflict prevention, you create a foundation for a more harmonious and productive environment. These proactive measures help address potential issues early, foster a positive culture, and equip team members with the skills and resources they need to manage disagreements constructively. Conflict prevention not only reduces the frequency and intensity of conflicts, but also promotes a more collaborative and supportive atmosphere overall. We've journeyed through 20 powerful and creative ways to handle conflicts, transforming them into opportunities for growth, understanding, and stronger relationships. Remember, conflicts are a natural part of life, but with the right approach, they can be navigated constructively. Implementing these strategies will not only help you resolve disagreements, but also foster a more harmonious and productive environment in all aspects of your life. Now, we want to hear from you. What's one strategy from this video that you'll start using right away? Or do you have a unique approach to conflict resolution that you'd like to share? Leave a comment below and let's continue the conversation. And if you found these tips helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell icon. Join our community for more insights and tips on leading a resilient and fulfilling life. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.